Om. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Continuing chapter 14. Be happy. That is the only thing I ask of you. John Sinclair was a multimillionaire belonging to the state of Connecticut in the USA. At one stage of his life, he was caught in a maze of business problems that destroyed his mental peace. One night, as he sat in his room, he prayed to God, I do not know where you are and how you look like. I know only one thing, that is, that you do exist. Please help me. He prayed most earnestly and in total surrender. From then on, he began to notice that God's invisible hand was protecting him. One day, he noticed someone walking through the inner hall in his home between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. He stared steadily. The person stood unmoving. John Sinclair did not understand who he was and what was he there for. But he could recognize that he experienced some vague sense of happiness and joy that was indescribable. In a similar manner, he had the same vision on another night. He was sure that it was no dream, it was starkly real. Sinclair went to the spiritual center, that is the Adhyatmik Kendra in New York, and mentioned his recent experiences to someone there. The person said, just a minute, please, went inside and returned with a small packet of vibhuti in his hand, and he gave it to Sinclair, uttered Sai Ram. He also spoke at length about Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai and assured him that it was Swami who had given darshan to him. Sinclair was deeply touched. He was but a mere businessman in far-off America. His knowledge of anything spiritual was next to nothing. He had not read even a single book about Sri Satya Sai Baba, yet the Lord had visited his home in person and granted darshan to an insignificant person like him. In his mind, he fell at the lotus feet of Swami at that moment. His heart began yearning for Bhagwan's grace and for Bhagwan's love. Very soon it grew and assumed unbearable intensity. As a consequence of that unbearable yearning to Baba and also Baba's compassion, Sinclair set off for Prashanti Nilayam. On arrival, Swami invited him into the interview room and said, I came twice to you. Sinclair stared at Swami in bewilderment. Swami continued, I have done a lot for you. I have given plenty to you. Even then, you have no peace. Why don't you do something for Swami? When he heard Swami's words, Sinclair was prepared to give whatever Swami asked for. He said, surely, Swami, most certainly, Swami smilingly told him, be happy always. That is the only thing I ask of you. Sinclair was stunned to hear what Swami desired of him, nothing but his own well-being. Speaking in the magnificent Purnachandra auditorium on the auspicious Guru Purnima day in 1993, Sinclair said, when I was a young boy being brought up as a Christian, I used to feel miserable that I was born 2000 years after the departure of Jesus Christ. Someone has truly heard my cry of agony. Here is sitting, that very God who had sent Jesus to us. Sinclair also recounted a couple of miraculous incidents. A few months before my arrival in Prashanti Nilayam, I had to make a business trip to another place. I told my wife that I would pilot my helicopter myself. She tried to dissuade me. Your mind is nowadays very much distracted because of your business problems. Why don't you engage a professional pilot? Satya Sai Baba is too busy to sit with you all the time to protect you, as if he were to protect you only all the time. He has got far too many people to look after. Why do you waste his precious time? I told her I am a qualified A class pilot. Why do you doubt my flying skills? I piloted my own helicopter, but as feared by my wife, the engine of the helicopter failed on the way. The hydraulic system gave way. I lost control of the craft. I knew that death was certain. I pulled out Swami's photo from my pocket and looked at it. The next moment, I found Swami right in the helicopter. He piloted it skillfully and landed it safely on the flank of a hill. He opened the side door, pulled me out carefully, pushed the helicopter away, and disappeared. That is how Bhagavan has been saving me time after time, drawing me closer and closer to his lotus feet. I will now describe to you a more astonishing incident. That woman who is sitting in the front row here in this gathering is Merlene Sinclair. She is the elder daughter of Swami. Sinclair was affectionately referring here to his own daughter as Swami's daughter. She is an expert horse rider. She acquired a fine horse and rode it and also trained it for competitions. Once she was riding fast in the riding course and tried to clear a high wall. Unfortunately, the legs of the horse hit against the wall. The girl was thrown off her saddle and her head dashed against the ground. And the 1,800-pound horse landed on her. It took full 45 minutes before the girl was admitted in the emergency ward of the hospital. I got the message on the phone and rushed there. I took out the small packet of vibhuti from my pocket, and as I applied to the wounds on her face, I said, "This is just like the holy water of Christianity." I also put a little quantity in her mouth. When I went to see her on the next day, there was not a single wound on her face. 3 months later, she has fully recovered and resumed riding. But the story does not end here. In the interview room, Swami looked at Marlene and asked, "Did I not rescue you from paralysis?" She said, "Yes, Swami, yes, you did." After the interview, I asked Marlene, "What is it that Swami asked you? And what did you answer him?" She then told me, "On the day of my accident, I lost an eye. When the horse heavily landed on me, I was paralyzed on one side. As I lay in the rain, helplessly, a person stood by my side watching me when I was being taken by ambulance to the hospital. He was by my side in the vehicle. In the emergency ward, too, he was by my side all the time. He also kept vigil constantly on me throughout the night at the hospital. That person is none else but Sai Baba. He made my eye whole and he healed my paralysis too. Only then did he move out of the hospital. Even though this incident happened several years ago, I did not know about it all until the conversation began between Baba and her in the interview room. This is an excellent instance to show that Swami is much more intimate than even one's own mother and father. My Swami, I have full faith in you. I totally surrender myself at your feet, concluded Sinclair. Saira.
Jagdishan. He was working as Deputy Director General in the Industrial Development Authority, Government of Malaysia. Whenever he spoke about Swami, he used to be contemptuous, malicious, and wild tongued in criticizing him. His name is Jagdishan. Once it so happened that Jagdishan went to the home of his mother in law. He saw Swami's photograph in her room. He was virulent in his condemnation of Swami. For 2 long hours, he riled and ranted and finally said to the picture, "If you really possess all those divine powers as claimed by these people, show me proof thereof. Only then will I believe these fairy tales." He did not realize that he had literally thrown a challenge to Bhagwan Baba. No sooner had he said these words than Vibhuti appeared on that photograph, the picture that had provoked his ire. He felt as if lightning had struck him. He realized that in this world of scientific thought, there was something transcending science, something incomprehensible to science. 4 months later, Jagdishan visited India and traveled to Prashanti Nilayam. In the audience hall, Swami neared him and gently moved his loving lips. Malaysia? Surprised and wondering how Swami knew that he came from Malaysia, he answered, Yes, sir. Swami invited him into the interview room. Jagdishan was now 32, but somehow felt as if he was a boy of 7 sitting with his father. The fatherly affection and love of Swami melted his heart. Copious tears flowed down his cheeks. He had believed in Swami only for mere 4 months now. Earlier to that, he had nothing but utter contempt for him. His vileness during that dark period was hanging heavy in his heart, and he could no longer hide his misery. He decided to make a clean breast of it. Swami, he cried, please forgive me. Till 4 months ago, I had never believed in you. Bhagwan shook his index finger from left to right and again to left and smilingly said, Ha ha, you are not a mere non believer. You strongly opposed. You are a strong opposition. Jagdishan collapsed in grief and shame. He fell at Baba's lotus feet and began literally weeping. Swami held his shoulder and slowly raised him. Don't cry, Bangaru, don't cry. Swami knows everything. Nowadays, at Swami's suggestion, he is functioning as the central coordinator for the Satyasai organizations in the East and fulfilling his destiny in the service of the Sai spiritual mission. Mala Vikshepa Avarana. In one of his discourses, Swami pointed out that man is gifted with intelligence and discernment, yet he is not able to recognize his true self. The reason for this, said Swami, is the cumulative effect of the deeds, karma, done in previous lives. Because of good deeds, satkarma, one takes birth as a human being. However, if in this human birth a person indulges in doing evil, like adultery, thievery, untruthfulness, and so on, the consequences too will be evil. These are of 3 types of evil nature: Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana. These obscure the spiritual vision of man and prevent him from recognizing the glorious form of his own true self, Swaswarupa Jnana. Swami then proceeded to elaborate what Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana mean. Mala is the cumulative effect of the evil deeds done during previous lives. As an instance, in point, here is a story. A diamond merchant was going on a business trip. He traveled on horseback and as he rode fast, his bag containing diamonds dropped on the ground unnoticed. 2 friends traveling behind him found it. At the sight of the precious diamonds, avarice took hold of their minds. Each wanted to grab it for himself. While the younger one kept watch over the bag, the other went searching for food. On the way, he got another vicious idea: to eliminate his friend altogether. Accordingly, he mixed poison in the food meant for his friend. He came back and told the waiting friend, Dear younger brother, have your meal first, and while you eat, I'll keep watch on the gems. The younger brother, the younger one had his own plans. As the elder one bent over, the younger brother dealt a savage blow on his neck with a heavy sword. Jubilant that he was now the sole master of the gems, he ate his food with relish. But as it had been contaminated, he too died of poison. Although the 2 friends did not get hold of the precious diamonds, they could not. Friends did get hold of the precious diamonds, they could not derive any benefit therefrom. It is Mala that led them to evil conduct. The root cause of Mala is evil thought and evil deed, which can be destroyed only through incessantly remembering and thinking of God. There is no other way. Next is Vikshepa, which means lack of steadiness of mind. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was serving as priest in the majestic temple of goddess Kali in Dakshineshwar. That temple had been built by a pious lady called Rani Rasmani. She visited the temple one day and asked Ramakrishna to sing a song in praise of Devi. While he sang, devotees, including Rasamani, were moving their heads in tune with the song. Paramahamsa suddenly stopped singing and gave a resounding slap on Rasamani's cheek. He scolded her. Your body is here, but your mind is elsewhere, on property litigation in the High Court in Calcutta. She was noble and devout, so she took her chastisement in proper spirit. As a deserved punishment for her unsteadiness of mind, that is Vikshepa, to distance mind from Vikshepa, there is only one way: relentless practice of concentration and single mindedness. Now comes Avarana. I am a student. I am a teacher. I am a Brahmin. I am a Kshatriya. I am a woman. I am a man, and so on. In this manner, a person falls into delusion. I am this body. Ignorance, ajnan of this kind is Avarana. If you meditate deeply and with discernment, Vivek, you will soon realize that you are neither a student, nor a teacher, nor a Brahmin, nor a Kshatriya, nor a female, nor a male. The reality, the truth is, you are the embodiment of Atma. To recognize this reality is to get over Avarana. A pregnant tigress was crossing a river when she suddenly gave birth to a cub. The mother was swept away by the rushing waters, but the cub reached dry ground somewhere downstream and joined a herd of sheep. Mixing with the sheep day after day, in the course of time, it totally forgot its true identity of a tiger. It ate grass as the sheep did. It bleated like the sheep. It completely lost consciousness of its natural and inherent strength and capability. Sometimes later, a tiger attacked the herd and noticed the tiger cub in the midst of the herd and was surprised to see it behaving just like a sheep. The tiger caught hold of the cub and dragged it to the water pool. It pointed to the cub's image in the water. Look, you're not a sheep, you're a tiger. Recognize your true identity. Only then could the cub learn the truth. The only way to remove avarana is through total surrender to God, Daivarpana. In his discourses, Swami addresses us as Divyatma Swarupalara, embodiments of the divine Atma. He is thus time and again reminding us of our true identity. He is constantly exhorting to each one of us, you are not merely a body of flesh and blood, you are the embodiment of Atma. We realize that Mala, Vikshepa, and Avarana can be got rid of by constantly having Swami's name dance on our tongues, that is, by chanting his name all the time, firmly seating Swami on the altar of our heart and leading spiritual, pure lives with the spiritual enlightenment Swami is blessing us with. Humble homage to the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai. Om Shri Satya Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai.
Om Sairam. Swami's quote that he is aware of the past, the present, and future of everyone. Chapter 15. You may think that it is a marvelous phenomenon that the Supreme Being should come down to earth in human form. But if you are in my position, you will not be so wonderstruck. I am fully aware of the past, the present, and the future of every one of you. That is why I do not get overwhelmed with pity. Not that I do not have compassion and love. My heart is certainly not made of stone. But if you shut the door of your heart, how can the waves of my sweet love penetrate beyond? You shed tears and say, Swami, I'm blind. I yearn to see your divine form. Doesn't my distress melt your heart when you see a blind person's misery? Your hearts are moved. Does not my heart too feel pity? But as I know the entire background, including the distressed person, Elia lies, my response is naturally different. If you too come to know the things that are known to me, your reaction to that person's agony will also be different. What one reaps in this life is but the fruits of the seeds that he himself had sowed in previous lives. So I allow him to undergo what he derived from his earlier evil deeds. Of course, performance of extenuatingly good deeds will mitigate the suffering to some extent. I am not the cause of either the happiness or misery. You have yourself fashioned those these two miracles that weigh you down, Baba. Evil begets evil. Once a husband and wife accompanied by the two children came to Prasanthi Nilayam. The parents as well as the children were very handsome and the whole family made a picture of beauty. They eagerly desired to meet Bhagwan personally. They say Colonel Yogaraja in that connection and request him somehow to make it possible. Impressed by the good looks of the couple, Colonel Jogarao felt that it would be very nice if Baba could give them an interview. So he interceded with Baba on their behalf, mentioning also that everyone in the family was very handsome. Swami said, "You are speaking so highly about the beauty of the parents and the children. That is all right. But do you know that both the little ones are blind?" Colonel Jogarao was taken back. Swami had not seen the family yet. Jogarao himself did not notice and could not imagine that the two lovely children were sightless. When he met those people again, he inquired about the children's lack of eyesight. He was distressed when he was told the ugly truth. The lady once again entreated Colonel Jogarao to plead on their behalf with Swami to bless her children with sight. Moved by their present, Mena Jogarao raised the matter once again with Swami. He got no reply. The next day, Swami came out of his place with the day's newspaper in hand. He gave it to Colonel Jogarao and asked him to read a particular item. The item refers to a news story in Bukapatnam. Two children's eyes were blinded by their stepmother. After reading the shocking news, Colonel Jogarao stared at Swami. What would you do if you were to deal with this incident? Asked Swami. Colonel Jogarao answered instantly, I will turn the heartless mother blind. Then Swami softly told him, but God does not do so. On the other hand, he makes his children blind. As for these two little ones, leave them to me. They will certainly be happy. But what about their mother? Baba moved away from the place, leaving Colonel Jogarao stunned. This brief conversation was all that happened, but Colonel Jogarao realized in his mind that the puzzle of a universal mystery had been unraveled in a flash. What had he asked of the Swami in favor of the couple? What did Swami mean by drawing his notice to this day's news item? And what is the profound significance of Swami's conversation with him? Evidently, Swami did not wish to reveal anything directly to the unfortunate mother and add to her mental anguish. It all happened up to this. Every person would have to suffer retribution for past sin. Bhagwan says, the Sai Baba says, God is just like a postman who takes out of his bag letter after letter and hands each one at the appropriate address. Members in one house read the letter and burst out in joy. Another household suffers miserably with what is received. As for the postman, he is least concerned with the contents of the letters he delivers. His role is merely to transmit each letter to their correct addressee. God too does the same. Picking at the food thrown away then, accompanied by Swami Karunya Ananda Bhagwan the Sai Baba once went to Dharmashetra in Mumbai. He stayed in his apartment on upper floor while Karunya Ananda was given a room situated on the ground floor right beneath Baba's room. Some prominent persons of Mumbai were coming to meet Bhagwan. The staircase they used was adjoining the ground floor room, and to avoid being disturbed, Karunya Ananda bolted his door from inside. As he looked out from his window, he saw a very disturbing scene. Just outside the compound wall, some children were vying with stray dogs to grab crumbs of food from discarded plates. The scene filled him with surprise as well as distress. This is the age when God himself has incarnated on the earth and is moving in flesh and blood among human beings. What is more, on that very day, he was present right in the very building is it not ironical that human beings were to fight with street dogs for snatching a few discarded crumbs of food? Just as these thoughts passed through his hand, there was a gentle touch on his shoulder. He turned around and found Sri Satyasai smiling and looking into his eyes. Karunya Ananda was flustered and said, Swami, I bolted my door from inside. How could you enter the room? Baba encountered. If I want to come in and can balls stand in my way? I have come to take you for meals. Then Karunya Ananda told Baba about what was agitating his mind. Swami, I'm troubled by a small doubt. You are God incarnate, and right now present here bodily. And just look there. Behind the wall, children are fighting with street dogs for picking up mean crumbs of food from the garbage. How come, Swami? Bhagwan explained patiently. They disdainfully ate from tables heavily laden with every kind of rich food, packing a little from this and a little from their plate. They threw away much food than they ever ate, contemptuously discarding precious food. In this birth, they are picking up what they had earlier so recklessly wasted and consigned to the garbage heap. Subsequently, on the occasion of the World Conference of Satya Sai organization that took place in Prashanti Nilayam, Swami Karunya Ananda addressed the audience. Swami was present on the dais. In his speech, Karunya Ananda referred to the above incident causing considerable surprise all around. In his discourse that followed, Bhagwan Sista Sai Baba clarified, two birds are sitting on a branch of a tree. One is eating the tree's fruit, the other is just watching like a mere witness. This incident was mentioned in one of the Upanishads. The inner meaning of this is the tree is the body, the fruits are worldly happiness and sorrow. The fruit eater is the soul, the witness is the supreme being, Paramatma. The birds are no doubt appearing as two distinct entities, but actually they are truly the same. Spiritual essence of man is the supreme principles, reflection or shadow vision. In Baba's own words, Paramatma Abhasa Rupam is Jivatma. Even so, experiencing happiness and sorrow is the Lord of Jivatma. They do not touch Paramatma. Paramatma is only a witness. These words of Bhagwan Baba elaborate the inner meaning of beautiful Upanishadic parade of two birds on a tree. Ocean of mercy. Despite all that has been stated earlier about past deeds and engendering either retribution or rewards in the present life, it is felt that the Bhagwan.
Saram.
Saram.
So it's only up till
Oh, okay, sorry.
Ocean of Mercy.
Saram.
Would you like to close with Samastaloka?
Okay.
Thank you.
Om
Samastaloka.
samastaloka sukhino bhavantu.
Oh, oh, oh.
Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.